And what I'm saying is a lot of people are addicted to this illusion. They're addicted to this status of the world. They're having to fit into factions, and they're using that to identify themselves. But what people don't understand is once you do that,
is it not written in your law that ye are gods? You understand what I'm saying? So it just depends on what level you own based on whether you're human or whether you're immortal.
At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. People have become addicted to the illusion. I'm saying it again. People have become addicted to the illusion, right? And what that has done, it's caused a struggle. It's caused like a tug of war between the soul and the ego, right? Now everybody has to belong to some sort of faction in today's time, right? And when I say faction, on the grandest scales, on the large scales, I'm talking about religion, right? I'm talking about politics. I'm talking about your level of education. I'm talking about, your social status. People have to fit in some form of faction of these factions, or they'll start to lose their minds. And I'll tell you why, because if you aren't associated with a faction and you don't understand what it's like to be factionless, I'm telling you, that's a dark and that's a lonely place to be in, man. And nobody wants to be there. Nobody wants to be there. Now, think about how we operate in this world, right? On a daily basis, right? Think about just driving by your normal Starbucks every morning. I know everybody sees the long lines at Starbucks every morning. Now, if we're honest with ourselves, they make some good coffee, but it ain't that good. You have to understand the mentality of a large percentage of people that are even buying this coffee. A lot of these people just want to be able to walk in the office, to be able to go sit in their cubicle and sit that Starbucks coffee there just for acceptance. You know what I'm saying? What people are doing when they move like this is they're just screaming out to society saying, let me in. Like let me in to this faction that's in place. Like I have to be associated with something. It's no different than, back when we were in school, man. And brothers would bring, pulling up in the Nikes or the Filas and the whatnots. You had the Tommy Hilfigers. It wasn't no different than in high school when people were saying, let me in. Because that's all people are saying is, no, let me in this faction of being accepted by you, which is all ego. That way I can have some peace by belonging to something. You know what I'm saying? I know one thing I love, man. I love this recent trend. I won't say trend. This recent increase in men, dressing up, man, suited up, and all this stuff. I love seeing brothers get clean. I ain't gonna front. But a lot of brothers are doing that not because they love, certain fabrics and certain designers, for themselves. A lot of these brothers are simply saying, "Let me in." They're simply saying, "Hey, man, like I don't want to be out in limbo. Like accept me into this world, man. Accept me as one of yours." And I'm telling you, that's a tug of war between the soul and the ego. The soul, and people use all level of factions. Man, you got some people that went to Ivy League schools that they want to fit in this certain sector when really, these schools going to Harvard, going to all these, elite, going to Howard, you can go down to DeVry, you can go down to the local JUCO, and it's going to give you the same opportunities as it's going to give the person that went to Yale, that went to Princeton. Trust me, I've seen it. A lot of that stuff is simply wanting to fit in a faction. A lot of that stuff is simply wanting to fit in some sector of the world to feel comfortable, to feel safe, to feel accepted, to be accepted by mankind. And I'm telling you, all that's doing is creating a struggle between the soul and the ego. You know what I'm saying? Even our sisters, man, we see our sisters all the time, man, with going out and getting this getting these, this extension stuff in their hair. When you see sisters doing that, that's all they're really doing. That's all they're really doing. They've been convinced by a world that wants control of them. They've been convinced that nappy hair, that curly, all that stuff that grows out of their head natural is not going to get them accepted in corporate America. It's not going to have them to be accepted when they walk in Saks Fifth Ave. It's not going to look right when you got the afro and you rocking, the Birkins and the Gucci's and all this stuff. Like, you have to look a certain way. So what do our sisters do? They go out and get this Brazilian. They go out and get this synthetic, right? And put it in their heads. A lot of it is not because they don't love themselves. Ultimately, it kind of comes down to that. But a lot of that is they're saying, you know what? I want to be accepted. I want to be accepted by society. And I'm telling you that when you lose that desire to be accepted by a certain faction of society, I'm telling you, that's where true freedom is. I don't even know if freedom is the word. Like the feeling you get when you're able to separate yourself from things and sit in that dark and lonely place of being separated from all things. Brother, freedom doesn't do that word justice. That's a very holy spot. And that's why society wants to cram us in these sections. Now, what I'm not saying is this. What I'm not saying is being a part of certain, political parties and fraternities and what. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But what I'm saying is when you use that to identify yourself, brother, now you're forfeiting your power. Now you're doing a thing to be accepted. Now you're tapping into the ego, which we discussed the other day, is pulling you away from spirit. Even in religion, man, religion can be a beautiful thing, but at the same time, religion can be a prison. How many people do you know that are tied to a certain religion that want to be free thinkers, that want to be think outside of the box, but it's that space in between. It's that space in between coming out of a certain religion, going into this world of free religion, or going to another section of religion. It's that space in between that people fear, because now you have no association. Now you have no faction to tie yourself to. Now you're like in a societal state of limbo. And I'm telling you, a lot of people can't move there. That's a very scary place. There are a lot of people that want to know what's on the other side of the cross. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that want to know what's on the other side of the blood of Jesus. They want to know what's on the other side of praying 5 times a day. They want to know what's on the other side of the Pope putting crackers in your mouth during service. A lot of people want to go outside of that, but they're locked in so tight to a faction that they've created a prison around themselves. You know what I'm saying? They've literally created a prison around themselves, man. Think about this. If you tap into the all, when you tap into spirit, when you tap into God, whatever you want to call it, when you tap into that, man, when you really submerge yourself into it, brother, it's hard to contain you with a label. It's like I can't imagine myself. Like I love going to religious practices, man. I have family members that are ministers and have churches. I love going to participate in those services. I still go and participate in Jummah occasionally. I have friends that are Catholic. I'll go and visit services with them. I love it, man. I love being invited. I love participating in services to enrich my spirituality. But there's no way in the world I could attach myself. There's no way in the world I could label myself a thing. But because it's like the thing that I finally found in life. That gap in between all factions, brother. I'm telling you, that space is limitless. That's part of the all, man. And I'm telling you, once you start cramming yourself in these tiny boxes of the world of acceptance, I'm telling you, man, you really start to subdue that power that we have naturally, man, that's given to us, man. And what I'm saying is a lot of people are addicted to this illusion. They're addicted to this status of the world. They're having to fit into factions, and they're using that to identify themselves. But what people don't understand is once you do that, brother, you're just stirring up the ego. You're just putting hot sauce and gasoline on the ego, saying, you know what? Feed me more. Feed me more. I want to be accepted. I'm going to tell you this, bro. And I'm going to try to explain it as good as I can. As good as I can, man. Like once you allow yourself, brother, to be identified with nothingness, like, you know what? Like the things that I have, like they aren't to impress anybody. They aren't to gain any friends. They aren't to give me status. Like they're just me. Like I don't belong in any of these. Once you get there, brother, there's a level of peace as well as a level of power that you access that I can't even begin to explain. And some of you know what I'm talking about, man. It's like, and this is the crazy thing, the goal that most people are trying to get to by hustling and grinding and doing what they're really trying to get to is this space of nothingness, this space of no attachment. Because once you get there, brother, like that's where everything you wanted was. If you want the bag, let's say you want the bag, like that's where the bag is. But this is the thing. Once you get in that space, the first thing you'll realize is, oh damn, like this feeling, like this is what like I didn't want the bag. I wanted this feeling. And now, since you're in this space of nothingness, not wanting anything, brother, the bag is the easiest thing to get. Because you no longer need it, man. Once you no longer need it, man, your brain and your mind starts to access so many ways to do it because it's no longer a need. So money becomes nothing. There's no desire for it, but it's all there. You know what I'm saying? Brother, I'm telling you that there's a level of, I can't explain it. Even when it comes to relationships, man. Like we can sit here and talk about, the problems between men and women all day. And these problems are a real thing. But I'm telling you, brother, once you get in this space, once you get in this space of not having to prove anything to anybody, not having to fit in some kind of box, it changes the whole dynamics of the people you even meet. Because now when you meet a woman, now she doesn't have to, now she doesn't have to check the boxes of society. You know what I'm saying? You got some good, solid, cute, bad chicks that are trying to shoot at you. But the first thing you want to do is like, okay, how does she match up with this faction I'm in? How is she going to fit in the circle of this area of my life? How is she going to look? If she dresses a certain way, if she moves, if she talks a certain way, how am I going to take her around my religious friends? Like my pastor don't want to hear a woman talk like this, or my educated friends that went to Harvard and A&M and all these big schools, they don't want to be around the girl that I'm feeling who may cut her sentences off short sometime. You know what I'm saying? See, so because you're still in this world of acceptance. What I'm saying, bro, once you get in that, man, when you talk about relationships, brother, I've met so many amazing people, amazing women in this space. Even if it's people that maybe our life purpose was just to, come together and cross paths for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful experience. It was an experience that was unlike the experiences I had in relationships when I was out trying to prove something to the world. When a woman had to be a certain thickness or had to be a certain shade of brown or had to have her to an ass crack. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, once you leave that, man, it's a completely different world, brothers. And then, the ultimate feeling is once you're in this space and you don't, once you're in this unattached space, brother, there's a whole new level of relationship with you and the creator. Because you got to understand that like once you get in these spaces, like once you tie yourself to religion so heavy, once you tie yourself to politics so heavy, once you tie yourself to the money game and your rich friends, your millionaire friends, your billionaire friends so heavy, there's something in you that starts to lean on these things, that starts to trust these things to, for your foundation. You tend to, not only are you tapping into ego, which is pulling you away from spirit, but you tend to lean on these things so heavy that they actually become your God. You literally start serving and tapping into these things without knowing it. But once you get into this factionless space, man, your relationship with the Creator, your relationship with the All becomes magnified. Your trust in the All becomes magnified. The peace you have in your life becomes magnified. That's why, man, you see a lot of people running around, tripping out about the things going on in the world, about the jabs and food shortages and this and this. It's like okay. It's like okay. It's like that's the world's systems. It's like that's the world tripping because these people aren't tapped into the true source. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, y'all are tripping about all this stuff. What's worst case scenario? What's absolute worst case scenario? That I lose my life in the process? That I reconnect to the All? You telling me that's worst case scenario? Then just let me be. If food shortages run out and I can no longer eat, then I'll just return back to the All. If the 19 take me out, then let it do what it do. I'll just return back to the All. I'm telling you, brother, there's a level of peace that you can tap into, that you can live in once you separate yourself from ego, once you separate yourself from having to fit in these factions, once you separate yourself from having to gain the approval of people, man, I'm telling you, man, there's nothing like it.